Hi, welcome to First Editing. I'm Joellen, and today we'll be talking about how to write the perfect book press release. Writing your book is one thing, but once the work's all finished, it's time to reach your target audience. In other words, it's time to market your book. You've got to create a buzz around your book, something that's more and more difficult in nowadays because the world is so oversaturated with information. But don't worry, here at First Editing, we teach you to not only how to write and edit your book, but also all the steps that come after that. So let's get started. First things first, why do you even need a book press release? Well, isn't it an outdated concept at this point? Short answer, no. The long answer is that press releases still play a major role in attracting sales and creating a narrative around your book. So with a book press release, you'll have a higher chance of reaching your target audience before the release date, which can impact your first week of sales. You may also attract the attention of official media and publishing houses, which could potentially result in some great interviews. So it's free press, and that's always a plus. While we do recommend that you grow your social media and have an author website as well, a book press release is an amazing additional avenue to expand your reach. So before we unpack the process of how to write the perfect book press release, it's crucial to set in mind what exactly will set your work apart. Journalists usually have very little time to go over the press releases sent their way, and so the best way to stand out is to abide by 3 rules. So 1, create an exciting hook. That'll pique the person's interest. Research shows that a strong emotional response drives customer behavior. So the journalist is more likely to see the selling point. 2, find an angle that makes the press release worthy of being published in the media. For example, a local newspaper will be interested in a book that uncovers the history of the region, while a rare topic with a twist is more likely to catch the attention of a national literary magazine. And 3, stick to the official structure I'll describe in the next section. You can get as creative as you want when you describe the plot of your book, but as far as formatting goes, don't stray too far from what's expected. So, what are the necessary elements of a book press release? Every book press release follows a basic structure, and our advice is to keep things nice and crispy. You should be able to craft a high quality copy in about 500 words. Your copy should include all the basic information such as your contact information like name, email number, phone number, address, your website for the author, book and place, date of your book release, the headline, and your subheadline. As for the release date, you can either write for release on a specific date or for immediate release based on when you're sending out the copy. The headline should be catchy, to the point, and the subheadline should describe your work in more detail. Now, for the body and soul of the text, your copy has to include 3 main parts: the introduction, the body, and the boilerplate, which is the section about the author, you. The intro naturally introduces your book to the reader, and it should include the answers to all the basic questions like who, what, when, where, and why. The body should ideally contain 3 paragraphs. It's the first of which is essentially a synopsis describing the plot of your book. The second paragraph is where you can include a short review by a notable person or a quote from the work itself, and the third shares the details of the launch event or tells the public where they can buy your book and when it's going to come out. The last section is optional though, so if there's no official launch, don't worry about it too much. Next comes the boilerplate, which, as I said earlier, is a short section about the author, which is you. We recommend you include a photo as well. That can be either of you or the book cover. And visual representation is incredibly important to great marketing because it immediately catches the attention of the reader. Now let's talk about what makes your book release truly amazing. Of course, a compelling angle is always a must, but there's more. Always try to create a punchy headline, use quotes efficiently, and write the copy in the third person. Avoid using too many capital letters or too many exclamation marks. Make sure your punctuation is correct, and don't get too promotional with your language. While a book press release is a marketing tool, it's also a factual statement rather than an ad, so keep that in mind in how you write it. And a great extra tip is to always research the media outlet you're sending your copy to and try to mimic their writing style. If they've published a book press release before, all the better, because it gives you a specific template to stick to. So let's move on to the questions of when and where. When you send out your book release, depends on the launch date. It's usually best to send it about 5 days before publication. As for the specific time, we've done a little research and found that the best time is to send your copy around 11 a.m. on Thursdays. If you can't make it on Thursday, just aim 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on that window on the work days. Now, if we're talking about where you should send your release, it's important to consider your target audience. While fiction authors may reach out to literary magazines or the local library newspaper, nonfiction authors can connect with organizations and media whose mission resonates with the book's specific message and audience. It won't hurt to send your release to some mass media outlets or publishing houses either. So really, the more options you give yourself, the better. So now you know what a book press release is, how to write it, how to make it great, when to send it, and where to send it. Remember, it's always good to stick to the structure we've outlined together, and don't be afraid to create an interesting hook. One last tip is to believe in yourself. You've written a whole book. You can do this. I hope you enjoyed these tips. Don't forget to subscribe to First Editing's channel, and if you have any questions, drop them in the comments section below. Thank you for joining, and I'll see you in the next episode.